installed new Windows on a new hard drive, and I lost all my OBS settings. All my scenes I had created
so you have
gone.
to redo it all.
So, but I did everything yesterday that I thought I needed to do. But okay, it says we're live.
Are we? Oh.
Let me pause that. Bring up OBS.
Yeah, I just got notification. Looks like. Yeah.
And your guys' audio looks like it's good on OBS. Anybody watching? I'm gonna close the window that shows because otherwise it lights up. It says 0 watching on my end.
9 watching on mine.
It says 9 on me.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't tell from. Yeah, it's not gonna. It takes a while to update it, I think.
Oh, where'd Clocked go? We're live, man. He leaves.
Oh no.
We're gonna do introductions and shit.
He pressed the button. He's gone.
Now he's
back.
no okay.
GameCube logo. Oh, there he goes.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and this is the Juice is Loose crew. Robert be here a little late. So this is our first time with everybody on camera. So yeah, is the chat? Where's the chat at? It's right there on the right. All right. I might have to move that. So yeah, let's try something new. Last week we went with Discord, but without cameras on. So I'm probably gonna have to do a layout to cover this left side of Discord so that the background will be easier to see the chat. So I'll have to do that for next week. But yeah, what's up? I guess it's been a while since we did anything different, and people have been mentioning how we used to do introductions and talk about games we've been playing and stuff. So what the hell? Let's try it with the cameras on, and let's start with Terrell, man. Why don't you say hi and what you been gaming on?
God, this feels out of place now because I haven't done it in so long. No. I almost felt like I need to do like a proper introduction, like who I am and shit.
Because we might have some new viewers who've never really had.
Do I need to do that or no?
Let's go ahead, so everybody knows who everybody is here by our faces.
Okay, well, see, people see my face pretty consistently on my own channel. All right, I don't know the rest of you people who hide behind your icons and shit. So yeah, insane game freak here. I don't know. It's just weird to do an intro.
Why you feel weird? You've been doing how long?
Because listen, that's the reason why. It's like, we reset and you explain to everybody who you are. I'm an insane game freak. I do video game videos and I like anime a lot. And I'm a deviant. As far as what I've been playing, it's been Resident Evil 3 Remake, a lot of Pokemon Sword for some reason. I've recently gotten really back into that. And Shantae. Those are the 3 games I've been primarily playing.
Well, Pokemon Sword's so good, that's why you're playing it. Right, Clocked it? It's because Pokemon Sword is so good. That's why you can't.
Look, beautiful game. It's different for different people. Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's go to Retro Death next with his Hollow Knight plushie behind him there.
Yeah, and I always use the avatar of my face, but I guess it's like Terrell said, it's weird having the cam zone. I guess is getting used to and shit. I have to make sure like my laundry is fucking gone and shit, to have it like somewhat presentable. Hey everybody, I'm Retro Death. I currently mostly do gaming videos. I try to like shift the balance to just gaming because I'm a sucker and I want all the views, and you don't get the views when you just talk about metal and shit all the time. I've been playing a lot of Days Gone again recently, and actually Hollow Knight, because I bought a bunch of like Hollow Knight merch, and I actually put the fucking effort to put an HDMI cable from my TV to my laptop, so I'm actually gaming my PC shit on my TV, and I booted up Hollow Knight, and it was like a whole new fucking game, man. All these giant details and shit that you're seeing, and I'm currently playing the Grim Troop DLC because I never actually finished that one yet, and I'm having fuck, man. Hollow Knight is like,
what clothes
did you buy? Don't want to stop playing. What
clothes did you buy?
For the Hollow Knight clothes, you mean? I actually wanted to wear that, but I went to the city and it's like 90 fucking degrees over here, so I had to like put that in the laundry. I bought like a long sleeve shirt with the Abyss Shriek logo, and I bought like a hoodie. Ooh, sexy hoodie, man.
Hoodie.
And
You just want to hear me say hoodie on camera. You fucking asshole.
Hootie and the Blowfish, or what are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
So just in the chat, if you guys want to, let us know you're here, because I see there's only a few people commenting. Feel free. We're gonna try to be more active reading the chat during the podcast, and so if you got something to say, I'm gonna have it up at all times. So feel free to drop a comment while we're talking if you got something to add to what we're talking about, and definitely read it. You don't have to donate. And we'll do our best. Well,
realistically, they couldn't donate.
No, I don't.
You have no way to donate.
I don't. I was thinking if I ever did anything,
you have to enable the feature.
If I ever did anything like that, it would be just do a game giveaway every time we hit like $65, or if and then we do.
Well, we should do that. I think that'd be cool.
Do a game giveaway for the people that put money in, but you could only put in like $5 max, or set an amount so that more people would be able to get in.
Yeah, but the more you put in,
wrong. It's $5.
The more you put in, the more chances you get. Like, we'll put your name in more.
Yeah, it could do something like that. So, yeah, we're looking to just kind of freshen things up here and
modernize.
So yeah,
$5 multiple times.
So, Clacked, why don't you go ahead? There might be people who have never seen you before, because you've only done a few face videos and all your videos. So let the people know who you.
Yeah, so my name's Clacked. I used to have a YouTube channel. I haven't done any videos for 2 weeks.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Have I been playing? I've been playing The Legend of Grimrock on PC, and I got stuck. Then I checked a YouTube video, and I found out that if you didn't have an item with you that was like multiple levels down, it's like throwaway item, and you got to this part, you had to go all the way back, and I couldn't be bothered, so I turned it off. Never gonna play it again. Puzzles like that, stupid.
Isn't that kind of what happened in Jet Force Gemini at the end when you had to have a bunch of things to collect?
This one was a skull, a single little item, a little throwaway item, and I remember throwing it away. I don't even remember where I threw it away. So there's no way to track that type of item.
That's bad. It's bad design.
It is really bad. I completed Xenoblade Chronicles. I started the extra story mode, which is really nice. And I bought the Splatoon 2 Octopath DLC, finally. We'll get around to playing that, although my daughters have gotten further than me. And that's about it at the moment. I'm waiting for Paper Mario.
So how did you feel about your second playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles?
Still my favorite Xenoblade. I think it's still the best one. No messing around, no fluff, no stupidness, no lotteries, nothing. Just a cool story, cool characters, cool levels, pace, loads of extra content if you want to do it, and just a battle theme music. Everything about it, I just.
We never really talked to you about the battle system. Was there, for me, who I was only like 10 hours in, maybe 5 to 10 hours on the Wii version. I never really got a grasp of that whole shows your team, one of your party members is going to get attacked, maybe die. I never could figure out how to stop that.
So, well, I think the second time I played it, it was much easier this time. See, you just get the vision. You get the vision flashing up, and you can basically either warn the person who the enemy is attacking, and you'll see the person's picture on the screen to go and attack. You can warn them to do a move, or if you've got Shulk in your team, you can use the Monado ads to block it. It's really not that hard. Maybe it makes it. I played this back in 2012. It's not like I was super young, but it just seemed to make more sense this time around. But then at the same time, when Xenoblade came out, it was quite a new battle system for a JRPG with some new elements. So I think with some Xenoblade experience now, it just made it so much easier this time.
All right, and Mr. True says, "What up, crew? How do you donate to get my comment read on the air?" And then he has a laughing. Bad Latency says, "Xenoblade's still a masterpiece." Advisor Grunt says he don't remember what game it was, but there was a throwaway item that you needed to beat the progress that was in the 16-bit days. Games avoid that these days. Yeah, I don't think there's too many games where you have to have that. I think that's just an annoying bad. Like a lot of times it's for backtracking purposes. Feels like adding padding to a game when you got to go back and get an item when you're like far in a game. But
this was straight up for a puzzle that you couldn't get past without
that's
certain items. It was just stupid. So.
All right,
I was a bit gutted really because I was really enjoying it. So.
That's a bummer. So what's up, Ms. T? How's it going?
What up? Shout out to the sleeveless black tea crew, me and Retro. What were we supposed to do here? Introduce ourselves?
Or just say hi and
I'm one of the forefathers of the Nintendo gaming community here on YouTube. Not really. I came after the forefathers, but they welcomed me in, so I feel like I'm one of the, one of the perpetuators of that old community. So this is me. Obviously, I'm probably the one. Well, besides Clockton, maybe I'm the one who's been on camera the least out of this group. So if anybody should be nervous, it's me. Why y'all nervous? It's weird.
You've been playing any video games?
Yeah, everything. I was just like, because I've been trying to like fix up my setup here and like perfect it, if you will. So I'll start playing something, and just to see how it looks and works and whatnot on my setup, and then I end up playing the whole damn game, Pikmin 1. I just ran through all the Pikmin 1 in one night. So that was cool. But besides that, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff lately, mostly racing games like WRC 8 for Switch, Horizon Turbo. I'm trying to remember which version I have. There's a couple versions. Horizon Chase Turbo. Mostly, I've been doing a lot of like retro stuff mostly recently, but I've been playing Luigi's Mansion again. 3, great game. I will say I did like the ghost look better in the first game. I don't know if a lot of people probably don't remember, but they look more like.
I thought the same thing as well, man. They
look more. They look less cartoony, but they look more like photorealistic, if you will. More like Ghostbusters. You know how the ghosts look in Ghostbusters? They have more of that look than of like, Ghostbusters 2016. that would be kind of the difference. So, but yeah.
All right, and
here we are, the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, and
I don't like that name. Don't call me the Brady Bunch.
So TriLink had a comment about Xenoblade. His favorite battle systems are X, in this order: X, Torna, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles. I definitely put X at number 1, but then X2 or Chronicles 2, and then I didn't play Chronicles enough to have a full opinion on it. But so yeah, that's Terrell. What? No, he's just commented. What do you think? What's your battle system order?
Oh no, I prefer. I mean, granted, like, so Torna is kind of a weird situation because Torna's system isn't that different from 2's. Like, it's just it's only different in the sense that you control both the blades and the drivers at the same time, and you can switch between them. It's a faster paced version of 2's. I would say I prefer 2's. I can go either or with Torna, between Torna and X, because X's isn't bad. I went back and played it somewhat recently, and it's not bad. I guess Torna only because Torna is a little bit more fast paced. So it'd be X2, Torna, X, and then the original Xenoblade.
All right. And Trizzy now, what's up, man? He joined the chat, and he said, "Did I click on the Spawncast or something?"
Yes.
Yep. We're gonna.
We just need more famous people. That's literally all.
So
he need to use his connections in the gaming community to get more guests on.
They don't like me. I talk too much shit.
But all right. So the one reason I did kind of cut the intros out was just because it takes us 2 hours to talk about whatever happened in the week, and we don't always get to questions. But I will say, for me, I've been playing The Last of Us Part 2 mostly.
You forgot to introduce yourself, Juice. Come on.
And then playing Rocket League, getting back in, trying to get my skills back up, because I was down to like less than 2 hours a week, and I
had any skills.
My skills really dropped off, so I've been trying to get those back up. But The Last of Us Part 2 and Rocket League, that's all I've played in the last week, and I'm 19 and a half hours into The Last of Us Part 2 according to the save file. And I'm still waiting for all those things people complained about. So I'm thoroughly enjoying the game, and I don't want to get to any discussions again because potential spoilers, but I think it's one of those situations where good and bad, the narrative people can be influenced by other people's opinions. That's why I didn't really look into any of that stuff. I only found out about it through, Robert and Terrell and you guys talking about it. I did see one tweet about somebody, I won't get into it, was just made this statement that I was expecting just something to happen in the game. I don't know. I seen John Linneman was like, I'm almost done with the game, and I haven't seen anything like what that person was talking about. So I just think, people, there's certain types of people that just look for drama to get involved in and look for to be offended. I know I've seen some of that stuff. So, but I'm really enjoying the game.
There's the spectrum of that as well. There's everybody thinks it sucks, so I gotta be extra loving to it.
Yeah.
There is that as well.
Yeah, like the counter defense.
Because everybody is telling you this stuff, and it's like, so when it happens, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, when you're not paying attention to all the, rumors or the reveals and the leaks and all that, and then you hear all this stuff that people are saying, and you really want to like the game already, so there's also that aspect of it.
Well, that happened with The Last Jedi, and I tried to go in as optimistic, even because I heard so much bad stuff, and it wasn't as bad as people were hearing, but I still didn't really like the movie. So, but for me, like, I just I would, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't lie about it. It's what else? There was another thing where, like, Batman vs Superman, everyone trashed that movie before I seen it, so I went to the movie just fully expecting, like, oh man, I can't. Not looking forward to it, but I'll go watch it because, I just got to see for myself. And I'm waiting for that, all the bad things people said about it, they didn't get into specifics. And I'm like, 2 hours into the movie, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like, what? I don't understand what people were talking about. So, but I guess we'll see how the game ends. See if it
nitpicking,
yeah,
because they want to hate it.
see if they can. Let's see if they can stick the landing, because so far it's heading to a good.
The screenshots on Twitter, they look good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variety in the environments this time. I think there's a lot more than the last game.
The water exploration, right, Retro?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot more width to the levels, so you can kind of spend more time kind of looking around. And some people might not want to do that. Just get straight. You can go straight through and kind of blow through it, but. I really I got that OCD about opening everything I can open, finding every resource I can in every room. That's just how I play games, so it kind of works for me.
I'm the same way, and that's why I hate the live stream.
Yeah.
Playing, people are going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you spending so much time in that corner? Why are you trying to break the game or whatever you're trying to do right now? Like, I like to explore stuff.
Yeah, that's why I feel like people wouldn't enjoy watching me stream, because like I'm constantly turning the camera, and I even think to myself, man, if somebody was watching me, they'd be probably getting nauseous because how much I'm like, oh wait, did I look in that corner? And I'm backtracking constantly. So
this guy's a noob. I want to see somebody just blast through the game quickly as possible, please. Thank you.
We call that a speed run, though.
Single level on Luigi's Mansion or something.
Yeah, it is like Luigi's Mansion.
I remember when I was playing Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, Luigi's Mansion. Like, nobody would want to watch my Luigi's Mansion playthrough. Like, it would have been so pissed off. What is he doing? What is he spinning around?
When you get to, like, the desert area.
Oh, man.
Who
you talking about?
The sand and the pyramid?
Oh, yeah. I I even tweeted it out that I sat there and I sucked up all the sand just because I felt like, and you can't do that in a live stream when you're playing the game. Like, so if I live stream something, it has to be something already played.
I mean, you can do it. People just won't watch you.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Like, what are you
Terrell, well, he spent like an hour
else.
in the prologue before he even got all the abilities, like searching everything. I'm like, dude, just go a little bit further. You'll get some items that you can do everything you're doing right now, but actually get the gems. He's like, but you were just getting used to controls and stuff. But I was just saying, as a viewer, I was like, yeah, I know that you're about to get an item that you're going to come right back to this area and search everything again that you're searching. So,
yeah, but you don't know that in the moment.
I know.
I'm just enjoying the game in the moment. Goddamn, it was about having fun, Juice.
Yeah,
Here's
this was
how funny anymore.
all right, so we got Seek R in the chat, and now Midnight Oil says, yeah, I can see faces. So anybody that's watching, if there's anybody who you've never seen their face before, feel free to comment. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we've already spent a half hour. So
That's what we do.
what do you guys?
Speed
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, speed run, and also don't expect questions answered.
Because we had what?
Let you know in advance.
Yeah, the question's going to be questionable at this point. So we had a Treehouse of Mario or Paper Mario. We had Ubisoft. We had Devolver Digital. Then Ubisoft did like a 30-minute separate video just on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like almost all gameplay. And I'm just like, that's like E3, but like I gotta say, and maybe this will be the first thing. The first thing we can talk about is not having that excitement buildup of E3 and just having. I didn't know about these events until you guys mentioned it like yesterday or Saturday. To me, it felt like it just seemed like the excitement wasn't there because it wasn't E3 time. It was just kind of random individual ones that are happening weeks apart and stuff. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but if this was E3, I would have watched all of that, no question about it. But just the fact that it was just kind of a random weekend and I was doing had stuff to do. I was kind of busy. I actually didn't check out much of any of it. So,
none of it was overly interesting, I guess is what I'll say. So you didn't, in my opinion, you didn't miss anything.
A lot of it was just plain bad.
Yeah,
Just bad. It was just bad.
But do you feel like
it wasn't worth it?
do you feel like it was because it was bad or because of this how we're just getting random videos and live streams from these companies in the last
No.
month?
I would say it was just bad.
I think you want to go according to details, but it was just bad.
Yeah, I think it was.
But here's the thing: a lot of the times it's just bad, but it's still more exciting when you're in that that week of E3. It still works better. It still feels better, even though you just watched EA play and you want to go puke.
Yeah.
But in this case, it felt like you were walking into a bad E3 press conference, and I'm like, well, I was excited, so that actually makes me more angry about how bad this was. So
Really?
I guess in
And
this
it kind
case,
of that's 2 years in a row now where Ubisoft's kind of from what people are saying. I think last year was all freaking Tom Clancy games. It was like 40 minutes of Tom Clancy.
Oh yeah,
DLC expansions.
Nobody's learned the lesson. Keep your cell phone games out of this event. Do that separately and do that on its own.
Didn't they have like
Agreed.
Nobody's learned that yet.
Didn't they have like indie games like while you're waiting for it to start? They had like a whole it looked like I was kind of skimming through like an indie showcase for Ubisoft while you're waiting for the main show. Did anybody check that out?
I wish you would have seen that. It would have probably been better.
Yeah, it was like 30 minutes before the show in the live stream, and
Didn't see that.
And it was looked like some pretty cool games. So
I didn't watch it live. I watched the replay, so I didn't see that part. I saw just like Assassin's Creed in like 5 different versions of some shit.
So we got Shadow Fox up in here
All
now.
of it was trash.
We got B Wild. He says awesome new format. Hope everyone still has their same demeanor. Yeah, I think we will.
That's a good thing though. That's because now you're on camera. You might not feel like doing
Yeah, I kind of feel like that when we had cameras on for a long time. T and I and Terrell, I think and I noticed when we turned the cameras off that it got more fun. People got more jokey. So that was kind of one of the main.
Things are gonna be the same. The only thing is different is now I gotta put on clothes when it's hot.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
allowed
had to go shave with Grizzly Adams. That's why I was late. I'm like,
You're also probably more
like
likely.
that.
Also, if you're curious about seeing my mother, that'll happen way more often because it happens almost every fucking stream. I have to mute the mic. So you're probably gonna see this door open. I'm gonna be like, motherfucker, and I'm
She
be like,
gonna
you're on
come
YouTube again. I
She
feel
gonna come
at
in
this
like
point-
that Smash stage where you gotta hide from the mom.
That's gamer Wario. That's
Yeah,
literally
Gamer
what
Wario,
it's gonna be
right.
like.
So
At this
anybody,
point, I want someone to make a clip show of how many times she shows up. It's ridiculous.
so if you guys feel free to read a comment if you see a good comment too.
Playing with yourself again?
CK says you guys should keep this format. It's already entertaining to hear you guys and go back and forth. So putting the voices with the faces just makes us feel more connected. Rocky, I avoided the Ubisoft event. Felt good to not see it. Trilink watched the Treehouse made me question my perception of time. Yeah, that was some awkward ass shit right there. Ubisoft. We'll get into that, but Ubisoft's they had a couple good years there. 2017, I think, was pretty. 2018 wasn't bad, and then
The first Ubisoft one that was amazing was the one where they had the Kingdom Battle shit, and the one after that was really fucking good. Plus, with both of them, they really didn't do all the stupid dance shit, and it just
So
it was fun, and they had games.
Yeah,
So
nah.
yeah, 2018.
Yeah,
Quick trivia question, because we're talking about this live or these events and whatnot. How
I didn't
old
study
is
for this.
Nintendo Treehouse?
How old is
How
Nintendo
old is it?
Treehouse?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It
say
existed
since
before the
2014.
No, it's existed before
Any other
that.
take?
The Treehouse.
You talking about the
itself
live or
existed
just the
way long
Treehouse?
Before this.
Yeah, you asking? Yeah, because I know the Treehouse has existed before we were seeing them more consistently.
You talking about the live at the Treehouse or the Treehouse
What's the
itself?
guess? No, I just meant Nintendo's use of the term Treehouse. Nintendo Treehouse.
Oh,
Fuck.
98.
I have no idea.
No, I'm not gonna go that
Something
far.
out there.
I'm gonna say since 2007 or something.
Okay. Retro is the closest. It was like 94.
Really?
93,
Okay.
94. They actually had a area in the building, Nintendo headquarters, called Nintendo Treehouse.
That's
They-
why I
they,
said it
They
depends
used
if
to
you mean
film on
live stream.
VHS. Remember the VHS videos they used to send out to people for whatever games and way back in the day?
What's a
If you're old enough,
VHS, T?
Nintendo Treehouse is in that. So
What the hell's a VHS?
That sounds like some mystery.
Terrell, have
shit.
you ever seen a VHS?
What? I have VHS.
Okay.
I still watch VHS.
I don't know what listen,
I
don't
definitely
know
don't
what
watch
Betamax
it,
is.
but I have.
I don't know what Betamax is. But
Well,
that's
it's the only way you can watch Star Wars, the real
Right.
original
Yeah.
Star
the
Wars.
right way.
Right.
Well, there's some fans working on that. They're making a HD
Yeah.
direct or original theatrical cut. So,
But it shouldn't have had to come to that. That was the
all
problem.
right. So, any comments from what Ubisoft actually showed? Because I don't have anything to say other than Watch Dogs
Video
Legion
games.
looks interesting.
Well, I really like the movie Watch Dogs thing they showed before they showed the game and shit. Like I thought that looked really like stylized. I like.
Was
some
that
of
the John
camera
Wick
shots
looking?
when the guy was on the bus and stuff. Like the movie thing was really cool. And I'm not gonna lie, even the gameplay for the first time. This is like the third time we see gameplay. For the first time, I'm like, you know what? I could maybe actually be interested in this Watch Dogs because the other two seems like not even GTA clones, not even GTA clones, but like true crime clones. But this one seems like semi-futuristic a little bit, and I like that aspect and the way everybody had like certain abilities and shit. I was like, you know what? I could be interested in this. But all the other shit, like, nah, man. Fucking Assassin's Creed, that looked clunky as hell. I don't know what they were.
Yeah, the
thinking
guy
about.
was struggling too playing that and the 30-minute gameplay, like the boss battle. He was just getting hit.
I didn't watch that.
What's
no
Terrell?
way.
No.
In defense of Watch Dogs, you clearly haven't played. Maybe you haven't played one. I don't know, but you definitely
I
haven't
haven't played one. I haven't played two.
Okay, well, 2 is night and day better than 1. It is way better. It's so underrated, unfortunately. That's why I even care about Watch Dogs Legion, because of 2. If it wasn't for 2, me playing it and think, whoa, this... I played them both. I beat them both. But 2 is way better. Way better. Much better game.
Yeah, it's an intriguing concept.
Do it.
Mm.
Do it. I refuse. No,
Why?
they look trash.
Man, what happened to the clock that from like a few podcasts ago? There's all this positivity and shit, and now it's just
Listen,
right down
we
to
can
press
see
shit.
his face now. That's the difference. Now he can't hide behind the logo.
Be trash. There's no positivity.
He's the man behind the
I will
text
say
now.
they're getting away from. As somebody who hasn't played I played Assassin's Creed 2 from start to finish. I put in about 6 to 8 hours of Assassin's Creed 4, and that's my entire time with Assassin's Creed. And I haven't really paid attention to the last 2 games as far as any kind of real gameplay. So for me, it looks like not like the old Assassin's Creed anymore. I'm not saying it looks good. I'm just saying it just looks so different now, where I was getting a Witcher 3 vibes from just kind of the general gameplay, not really the combat, even though the combat looked just as clunky as the Witcher 3, at least early on when my time with the Witcher 3. But I feel
Didn't you play Watch Dogs 2? Because I think we bought it.
I
around the same time.
I played. I probably only did like the maybe 5 missions, and I was just kind of.
Oh, yeah, you got to get into it a little bit more than that, and it opens up. And you're like,
Yeah,
this is awesome.
The weird shit about this Assassin's Creed is like what Trizzy was saying. Like, Vikings are known for stealth. These guys were like, yeah, we went to like fucking Norway. We like left the way Vikings left. Vikings are really good people, you know. And then they show the game, and it's basically just Vikings like tearing down and burning down villages and shit. Like you're like, oh, you're going to occupy England and destroy it and claim your homeland. Like, there's nothing peaceful about this shit. This is why I got up the asses when they're showing this gameplay.
You just don't know what the word peace means. That's what it is.
And speaking
I don't
of,
think anyone should look towards Ubisoft games for historical accuracy.
no.
I don't think that-
But Shadow Fox said he wants a sequel to Child of Light. In the 30 minutes before the show started, they showed, I think it was the developer of Child of Light, and they definitely have another game with the similar art style. But I didn't see long enough to know if it's a sequel or just another game.
Yeah, Child of Light was dope.
So yeah,
Yeah, I played it out on Wii U, and I'm sure.
Yeah, Wii U.
I'm
So I played it.
sure they mentioned that they were considering doing a sequel. They mentioned.
So yeah, that's I think that's enough talk about Ubisoft. So let's talk about that Nintendo Treehouse delayed
Are
live.
we going to talk about the Devolver shit as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Nintendo.
I couldn't make it 5 minutes in because of it felt like about a 10-second delay for the couple of the people talking, and it was so uncomfortable, and it just took away anything I was paying attention to in the game. I just got so distracted that I was like, well, I'm sure this isn't going to get any better, so I just turned it off.
Nintendo. What y'all doing?
Mine was the same. I also turned it off, but mainly because I still want to play the game, and it looked like they were playing it from the start and just playing the whole game through. It's like, I don't watch Let's Plays. I don't care if it's like goddamn PewDiePie or Nintendo themselves. I don't want to watch them play this whole freaking game. So I just didn't watch it purely because I saw one trailer. I know I want the game. I don't need to see more of it, so I stopped watching too. And then I went back to see what the other game was, and I fucking told people, expect goddamn Metroid Prime 2D, some shit like that. I said it's not even going to be a Nintendo game, and then I'm not even going to lie, what they showed was actually worse than even I thought it was going to be.
Who's this guy?
I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
But the game ain't with me.
So I think
Are you the TV screen right now?
so. That's what I'm gonna do.
He's looking up.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna click on
The
everybody.
bottom of the screen.
It's like some security camera type shit where I'm like looking around.
So what's up, man?
How's it going?
What you been playing, man? Anything recently?
What I've been playing?
Smash Brothers. Min Min.
Well, let's see. So let me think. So I did actually stream last night Smash, and I actually did pretty good with Min Min. I'm very surprised. Like I'm always losing constantly all the time, but I won a few matches, man. I'm very surprised. Min Min feels great. She feels like Min Min. I love it. It's just, like they replicate that ARMS feel. You know what I'm saying? I love that.
Min feels great.
She does feel no, but also and then I've been playing some spoilers for my back to back. You guys should watch it if you haven't. Watch self promotion. I finished Perfect Dark Zero.
Oh, really? I've never even seen that game.
That's gonna be a fun one.
He hasn't even played the original either. That's
What is it? I will. What is this?
Oh no, you
It's
can't
on the
go
backlog.
backwards.
It's on the backlog.
I think that'll be an interesting perspective
It's in the
then.
backlog. He's going through the
We
backlog.
are going in order with those games.
No,
He's making progress.
Technically, he is playing in order because
I think it's a prequel, right?
It's a prequel, so
Then I also.
But is it a good
played,
prequel?
no.
Exact 0 out of 10.
Before we move on, I have to say I've never seen gameplay of Perfect Dark Zero in my life. I've never even seen it.
How do you exist?
Me neither.
What?
I don't have.
I mean, there was a
360 in my life, and
there was probably a trailer.
Perfect Dark footage? You kidding me?
When that game came
I
out,
finished
bought
one on
the,
I finished
I
one
got
on the
the limited
N64.
edition.
All right, we got
Got the
talking over each
limited
other.
edition with the tin. Yeah, like this lovely tin limited edition. I was like, Perfect Dark Zero from the Xbox 360. You can do it, Rare. You can do it. Plug that shit in.
And I also playing some Ring Fit. You know, trying to beat Ring Fit, and also Outer Worlds. I was playing more Outer Worlds. Apparently, dude, I feel like I haven't.
Why are you looking up so high?
I was looking.
You got a spider on the ceiling?
I'm trying to open up
Shit, bro.
apparently,
Jesus Christ.
I feel like I didn't play a lot of the Outer Worlds, but apparently, like I'm only 2 hours away from finishing it. It's a very short game.
Is there a spaceship taking off in your room with all that light?
So good.
He's being abducted.
I'm gonna move my
All right,
computer and
he's
shit
being
in front of my 92-inch screen. I'm gonna sit right at the base of it, so I gotta watch you guys like this.
I want to see. I want
You know we
Robert.
gotta give you credit for it.
No. I want Robert to flip the camera so we can see what he sees, like dead ass.
Okay,
Wait,
all right. So
can
let's
you?
see. Yeah. It's
Oh, yours goes 6 wide. Mine's
Like my TV is like one of those boxes.
that's weird because mine goes 6 high. It doesn't go wide like yours. I don't know how to.
Actually, in his room with him, my head is the same size as his head.
The whole thing is though, it's like, you know, when you're reclined, you're like all the way back, you know? It's not as bad.
This was worth having cameras on right
I
here.
can see it from here. There's a face.
Is that a PlayStation 2 in the background?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a PS2.
Anybody notice
Yeah.
anything in my background?
Then there's my
Why is that there?
You notice my
Let's look
Gumby,
at my background.
my Series X Gumby edition?
What is it?
It's my Series X Gumby edition because it's got the it's sloped. It's like slanted like Gumby's head, if you know who Gumby is.
I can almost touch you, yo.
Oh man, my dumb.
That doesn't look. Listen, on your camera, it just looks weird, Robert. Don't do that. It looks like you're literally just like.
I'm scared to do this. Let me see. It might be dirty. A bowl of cereal, some weights.
Oh, that was.
Are you trying to
Like
high
high
five
five
your
them.
background? I don't
Like
think
a
that's how
high-five
it
each
works.
other. It's real.
You gotta
Look,
reach-
All right, let's get back to the podcast here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push Juice's screen.
All right, I haven't checked
Consider
the
it that.
I
Come
haven't
on.
checked the chat in a while, so let's see what people are saying about.
Chat's on fire.
Rob just took over the stream. Go Rob, go. Min Min is my new main. Byleth moved to my secondary from bad latency. I checked my stats and Byleth's like number 3 now on my like most KOs list. Let's see.
New corn for Juice.
Oh god, I haven't even.
Oh, Microsoft bragged about Perfect Dark Zero in their 360 footage. I feel like I've seen like a trailer, like that was like CG or something. Let's see. I bet Min Min's ramen is smooth and tasty. Wow, Visored. Jesus.
Corona bubble. What happened?
He says, Visored says, I bet Min Min's ramen is smooth and tasty.
Whoa. PG-13.
Robert can tell us.
PG
Yeah,
13.
ramen. Ramen. I was say ramen's an attractive character. I mean, Minmin's an attractive character.
You think ramen's a attractive character? Go get you some noodles.
PS2 fat.
I mean,
Let's
to be
see.
fair, yeah. I mean, I love ramen. I mean,
So Ninsane Gamer says it's weird. He feels some voices don't fit the faces. That's what happens when you don't see somebody. Like T. Now, when I first saw you, I was like,
My voice fits me perfectly.
When I first saw
I
T,
totally agree, though, yeah.
when I first saw T, I was like, "Whoa, that's not what I was expecting." But now it's like I don't even think twice about
You're
it.
expecting some 400-pound dude in his basement.
No, I was expecting a fucking mohawk, and I was severely
you all say I
disappointed.
got like a deep voice, and I don't feel like I got a deep voice.
Oh, you definitely.
It's not a
got-
high pitched voice. It's just I don't know what the
Yeah,
term
Like
is.
I mean, I
Hey
never,
there.
I never,
How's it going?
I never really thought about that. Like when I
Looking for
was
the
when I
shoulders.
Retro Death. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting some cool metal dude. I was expecting Bakuba Takamus.
And Terrell, I seen him like the moment I heard him at the same time because you were always on camera on your videos.
Yeah,
Same
I
with
was myself on
Retro
camera.
and Robert. So, AKA Slayer says he loves the new format, so that's good.
positive feedback. Look,
Yeah.
yo,
So yeah,
There's a lot
Robert,
of-
we were
a lot of
talking.
new dudes in the chat tonight. So.
Yeah, I've seen some. I mean, not completely new, just haven't been chatting in a while. Robert, we were talking about
I
the.
realized you guys seen our big hands, yo. Remember that?
oh god, we're not doing this.
They all look the same
Everyone's
size when you
hands
get
look
them.
big. We're not doing this. All right? So,
Put them next to your face. That's how. That's how
Oh,
you
he's
know.
not wearing his wedding ring. They must have got a divorce.
Or, again, like, see,
You have two hands. Steve Weed's on the other one.
Well, this. Oh yeah, that wouldn't be the hand anyway. What am I talking
See
about?
that? See that, Robert? Bury this.
I don't even know where it goes anymore. I don't care.
All right, get back on
These
track.
cameras were
Back
a
on
bad
track.
idea.
That's when,
Back
that's when
on
the
track,
wife
people.
Comes in. You did what?
What was that?
Back on. Let's get back on track here, Robert. We were talking about the Treehouse Paper Mario travesty of delays.
Robert, what was that face, bro?
Did anybody?
You were like-
What's this Treehouse, man? I mean, holy shit!
Did you make it through it? Did you watch?
I didn't even bother watching because it was just gameplay of a game that we've seen so much of.
Actually, I feel like we didn't see hardly any of it. Like I still didn't know what the battle
I think
system.
most people were actually watching it.
yeah, they were.
To see Way Forward's game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
No.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the tweet that came out? It wasn't from Nintendo, but someone wrote in the tweet like after the mystery game was shown. It was like Nintendo's Treehouse live stream just dropped 30,000 viewers.
Oh yeah. Saw that.
when the game was revealed. It's such a weird game that I don't understand why that. Was
Why
the
hype?
time
Yeah,
they
why
fucking
even
show it.
let people know it was
For
getting
Way
announced?
Forward, especially like that's your
Yeah,
game.
like don't push it as a.
I don't have a
Way
problem with
Forward
the game. I liked Bakugan on Wii. PS2, I think, is when it first came out.
Yeah,
first game
but-
anyway.
Bakugan is such a weird niche series that I felt like.
But yeah, it's like a
to
weird
promote.
niche series. So
Very strange.
Yeah.
Is that their big November title? Imagine that.
No, shut up, Robert. Shut up.
So did it?
Think about it. That was a big thing. It was exclusive to Switch November something like November something. Oh,
Yeah, it's like
wow.
November 2nd.
yeah, but it's not Nintendo. That's not their title.
Yeah, that's like a third party game.
Third party, yeah.
So let me.
But you know what? That might be the time it comes out because usually a lesser known third party game wants to launch the same day as a bigger game. Sometimes people think, oh, that's going to take away from it. No, actually, it actually puts a little bit of light on the game that people would probably ignore it anyway. So
So
it
let
does
me.
happen.
Yeah, you just kind of have to be a fan, and Bakugan
Yeah, you're
already.
a fan. But even if you're a fan and you just probably forgot when the game comes out, you remember because,
Yeah.
oh, I'm picking up Zelda or whatever, and oh, yeah, Bakugan comes out today. I get that.
Yeah, and
So that-
unfortunately,
I just-
Bakugan is like the ripoff of the ripoff of the.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
it really is.
It's like it was Pokemon, it was Yu-Gi-Oh, then it was
Yep.
like this weird span of time where you kept just getting a bunch of knockoffs. Oh, Beyblade,
Digimon.
Beyblade.
and I was like, oh,
Digimon.
don't promote this.
Yeah, it was weird.
But
It was weird.
even the
It was just a weird choice in the
withstanding the whole thing, I just almost took offense. They called it the Treehouse because I like the Treehouse here. The Treehouse streams is like you're sitting in a living room with a tent and all these guys are around you. They're talking about the game. They're more talking than playing and shit.
There we go.
Like Robert said, this was just a fucking like let's play of Paper Mario. Like I don't need to see that shit. It didn't
You could-
feel
you
like a
could call it,
Treehouse.
like, Nintendo Live Direct or something for Paper Mario. Like that would have been better because at Treehouse you're expecting, you know, it to be a better setup. It'd be a more interesting
I can't
show,
believe-
and it's like, well, everybody's going to be fumbling because you're on live and they're, you know, well, obviously Treehouse is live, but I mean they're on,
They work better in
on their own
person.
computers and stuff, and they're having to
separated.
worry about lag because they're not all together. So it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I'm noticing
The worst
some.
part was that the only person who was lagging was the actual person who was playing. For Mario,
Yeah.
he was the only person who was lagging. When he actually was talking about the game, the other people like talk over him and stuff. I'm just like, man, get rid of this guy.
Maybe that's why he was lagging, because he had his Switch on and it was eating some of the bandwidth he was on Wi-Fi.
I feel like we're lagging with the cameras on. I feel like we're doing a lot more talking over each other than. So it's. I mean, it's not technically their fault because they don't have any other way to do it, but.
It should have just been direct.
Could have been recorded. I think they should have just
Yeah, I
recorded
would have
it.
pre-recorded it and put it out.
Edited it nicely, had some voiceover, explain some stuff, and move on.
Exactly. Like an overview trailer.
Yeah, they've done that before.
And then release Bakugan as a 30-second trailer, so we don't have to.
Right. Move on.
I was like, what the?
No, the rumored Nintendo Direct is July 20th, Muhammad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but I don't remember
Maybe
ever.
Monday, right?
Dude, the rumor for Nintendo Direct was 2 weeks ago as well. Like,
Does anybody ever remember a Direct on a Monday though?
Calm down, man.
People brought that up on Twitter.
I've never seen one on a Monday.
Yeah, I've seen people bring that up on Twitter.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Nintendo never has put Direct. But
It's
it's not like they're required to though.
I saw somebody who had a list where there were like a bunch of directs on Nintendo in the past like 8 years. But even then, people pretend like, oh, there was never a direct on a Thursday the 2nd on the half moon or some shit, so it can never happen. So come on, like Nintendo do, especially now, they do what they want. Like,
Yeah.
most people
I mean,
are
I'm saying
doing
it
shit.
could be
If
on
they're
a
like,
Monday.
we're dropping this shit
They're
Monday
just-
because
In like a year.
The thing is that they're going off of the trends we've already had and trying to predict it from there.
because usually it's
There's no trends now because we haven't had a direct in a damn year. So, like a real full-on direct.
we had
We
the
haven't had one. in a
no,
year.
we had the mini and then the individual games. So
Right.
what else? Devolver Digital did something. I didn't see it.
That was funny. That was
Always good. I like the Devolvers. I always
Yeah.
do.
A lot of social commentary I felt towards the end.
the thing about the thing about the Devolver one is I loved everything they did so far because their live streams were like parodies and insane and fucking absurd. They had all these games. They called everybody out. It was cursing and everything, but this one was really bad. It was 45 fucking minutes.
They showed
I
5
think
games.
I think they had 5 games of like 20 seconds each. There was so much shit in between, and it wasn't like funny like their old shit. Half of it was really cringy and so bad. It's like I really didn't like this one, and the previous ones I hold them up to a super high standard.
Yeah,
and
you
shit.
really-
This was just really bad.
I think you're holding it to it, because it's not in E3. I didn't feel like it was
No,
much different.
I don't give a shit that it's an E3. You said it was 45 fucking minutes. They had
No,
5
I was gonna
games
say,
in
it
there.
was long as hell, and they didn't show as many games. But I didn't have a problem with their humor. I thought it was pretty on par with
That
what
was good. I enjoyed that shit. That was good.
Actually,
That
I
was
watch
funny.
the directs
They-
more for the humor than I do the game announcements.
Yeah,
Did you feel like the
to be
humor was
honest,
on point,
I just would
Tro?
have expected some movie.
I thought it was just as funny as in line with
Yeah.
everything we've done before. I didn't think it was.
I
It
think
was
a
just
lot
it
of
was so long now. Maybe that's what it was. It was too long in the tooth because they only had 5 games in a 40-minute span.
You know what the
Maybe-
problem
maybe
was
they showed
for
were
me
pretty
with
cool,
you know what the problem was for me with the humor? This was basically like the third one in the saga where they ended it kind of with this. So it felt a lot of the jokes weren't jokes, but they were focused on finishing like the storyline they had set up, and half of it was just so drawn out. It wasn't a lot of like quick little snaps and funny bullshit. I mean, you stared at like these 2 women's faces for like 20 fucking minutes when they're just staring at the camera and shit. I don't know. I didn't like this one at all.
I appreciated that stuff a little more because that's like what's the Andy Kaufman type of stuff, which I like when the comedian kind of trolls the audience just to see how long you'll actually put up with stuff they're doing and crazy stuff. So I don't know. I mean, like you said, it was just long. It was kind of long.
Yeah.
Terrell, you agree?
10 minutes off, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like I said, I don't really watch Devolver Digital for the announcements. The announcements, at least for me personally, are kind of like, all right, cool. Like, because they're always like smaller games or like cool little things, but it's nothing crazy for me personally. I actually watch it because I like kind of the cool social commentary they do on the games industry. That shit's funny to me. So more of that for me personally, I was entertained. But if you were there for the game announcements, it was like, what? So I can understand the argument that it was too long, but I still thought it was entertaining.
I mean, I thought the games like Shadow Warrior 3 looks really fucking badass. I mean, holy crap! Like, I think Juice, you would probably like. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. You probably like that shit. Like, it kind of reminded me of Doom.
Shadow Warrior. It's kind of Doom like, so you might like it.
It looks intense.
It's been around forever, that series.
They said like almost every game there was like that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, yeah, it was 5 games, but it's like, hey, if you hit 5 out of 5, that's 100%.
Even their free to play game looked, fun. Like the what was it called?
The Overland.
Yeah. That looked.
Basically,
cool.
that blew my mind. Like, they need. Oh my god! So E3 needs to do that shit. Make it E3 for people that can't go to E3. Have a virtual E3. How is Devolver the first people to do this?
Yeah, how they come up with that?
You mean like PlayStation Home?
Hey, don't bring that shit up. We don't talk about that. That was a mistake.
PlayStation Home wanted to be, or Miiverse wanted to be PlayStation Home. Wasn't as good though.
We do need to talk about the one thing that I think almost every Nintendo fan was kind of excited about during that whole thing, which was the little tease we got from Suda at the end of that direct, if I remember correctly. For No More Heroes.
Like, what was it? It was like,
the No More Heroes. That was a nice troll too.
Yeah,
it was so funny because it was like, they were showing at the end of the show, like, people who contributed to the show were like, throwing thumbs up and waving and stuff. And here comes Suda, who was not in the show at all. He's doing a thumb up with No More Heroes 3 in the background. Bastard!
We're like, show the goddamn game, you son of a bitch!
It was a great troll, though. It was like,
he's gonna keep this joke going all year.
He just tilts the camera down and nothing else.
He's gonna keep the joke going all year, bro.
This is Shadow Warrior, right?
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's pretty badass, yo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got humor in it too. I don't know if this one does, but the series has always had this kind of dark humor to it. So
yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm like, damn, there's some crazy shit going on in this.
Yeah.
Doesn't list any specific hardware. I don't know if that's a gonna make it to
I'm sure
you already have the hardware it's coming out on.
That looks pretty demanding. There's a lot of stuff.
But
it doesn't look like I wouldn't say it looks like a next gen game at that point, but I'd be curious to see what it supports.
Well, in terms of like the people like falling apart, I've never really.
That it won't be on Switch.
We're not gonna have this conversation.
Oh, a game
we've gone team, we're fine.
There's a game that is coming from
Ubisoft.
Hey, hold up, Clocked It's trying to stop. Go ahead, Clocked It.
I was just going to say, nothing from Ubisoft look next gen either. So it's kind of like we know that's all they've got now for such a long time.
It's true.
I'll say the was it Watch Dogs Legion had some people, some game press actually got to play the PC version, and I mean it's definitely a pretty big step up versus Watch Dogs 2. I think visually, that was running on PC on the highest end graphics card you can get. It looked like a nice. It didn't look like. I mean, it didn't look like a brand new game engine, but it was a pretty significant jump, I thought, in that regard. But
we know how good Ubisoft is at doing their PC ports, optimizing,
and actually delivering the final product close to.
And that too.
There's this ad I've been watching ever since that Shadow Warrior trailer ended, or that gameplay of Netflix thing, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is before that's why I keep looking over, because it's like a 2-minute ad and it still hasn't said the name. But
damn.
So I feel like we should talk about old Phil Spencer's comments about not having games be tied to. Well, I don't know exactly what he said. Basically, he doesn't feel like having games tied to a particular piece of hardware or something along those lines. Basically, saying he doesn't really support exclusives. And maybe I don't have the exact quote.
Because he doesn't have that.
You can say that when you don't have any.
That's like that only comes from a loser. We don't hear that shit.
And I mean,
to be fair, to make the argument, consumer-wise, having everything on one box is what I think most people would prefer. But at the same time, but that's partially
PC guys have been crying about that forever. It's like, I just want to be able to play everything right here. If I can't, then that's anti-consumerism.
Yeah. But the problem is that at least for Nintendo fans, to use an example, with exclusive stuff on our consoles, we usually ended up getting unique experiences.
Right.
The Wii being one of the better examples, actually. But I can see why people make that argument for like the other two, because realistically, having exclusive to Sony just means, well, it's just on the PlayStation. Like, there's no gameplay difference or advantage you get from having it on the PlayStation, or even a new way to play. Except it'll be at 60 frames.
Right. Yeah, so if you look at it from that perspective, then you got a point.
It's Train and Horizon coming out fairly soon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I think isn't Horizon already out?
I don't know if it's already out, but I know it's out.
No, I feel like,
and I understand that thinking too from hardware manufacturers. Like, you make pennies, especially those guys. If anything, they lose money on their hardware. So it's like our emphasis is to sell you a game. Like, that's what we care mostly about. And the easier we make that for you to do, then we'll do that. So yeah, I get it from that perspective. But in these gaming streets, if you ain't on that that fanboy stuff, you got nothing to fight about if everything's everywhere.
Exactly.
Xbox fans can't argue anything.
Anybody have the exact quote? I was kind of gonna look for it.
I can go. I'll go look it up.
Yeah, why don't you find exactly what he said? To me, it's like, I get it, because I've kind of, I wouldn't say I'm woke on the subject after downloading the CEMU emulator and playing Breath of the Wild on PC, and it's like, I mean, it's still Breath of the Wild in every shape, every way, and I'm playing on Xbox One controller, and it's like it didn't feel that different feeling that I kind of expected. That's why I've kind of always avoided playing emulators and stuff. I just kind of felt like it wouldn't feel right. But for that particular game, I can say for sure I put like 25 hours into it, and to me, I couldn't even tell. My memories are now the memories of that third playthrough are just joined in with all my memories of this my first two playthroughs on Switch, and it's just like it doesn't stand apart as anything different to me. It's just so I can kind of see.
What if you played it there first and not on Switch? What if you played it on PC first, not on Switch?
I mean,
would it be different?
I think it would be I would have had the same kind of revelatory experience, I think, where it's just like where my mind was blown and I played for 12 hours straight and my eyes were messing up because they were open so long, they were getting strained. I don't think it would have changed much other than just the joy of, the excitement of having a new console and having a new game to play.
That's where I'm different, I guess, because
what the hell? What did your cat do?
That's what he's doing.
He's like sniffing.
A lot of people are like, I want all my games on one system, no exclusive. But to me, you lose your identity then. I like the fact that, I think of Nintendo and there's all these games attached to it. And even PlayStation. My PlayStation has an identity because of the system it is and the exclusives that are on it. If you don't have any exclusive whatsoever, let's say for example, I know it has some exclusive, whatever. Let's just say it doesn't. None at all, like Xbox, where everything is coming anyway. You have nothing. Like, your box means fucking nothing to me. You have no identity. There's nothing on you. There's nothing. Because I have a PC as well. I don't need you. If you don't have, like, if you wouldn't have, like, actually, like, Halo and Forza and all that shit, like, they don't have a lot, but that makes Xbox. And if you put that on everywhere, you have no identity. And if you don't have an identity, like, why do I need you? I like the fact that I have a PlayStation and a Nintendo, and they are their own fucking thing. Like, that's why I like exclusives. If you don't have an identity, like I said, I don't need you. What's the point of having you?
Well, how capable is your PC?
Good enough that I'm happy with it right now, but it's still just a laptop. But I bought this one, I think like not even 2 years ago, and at that point it was one of the best you could get as a laptop. So I can do everything on there. I do still want like a desktop PC and everything, but even then, like, my PC, and this is gonna sound weird, but Steam is, I feel like, the identity of my PC in a way. Like
Yeah.
if you have no exclusive or nothing, no reason, I don't need you. That I'm not gonna buy a fucking Xbox to play fucking Blu-ray. Like no, I have Blu-ray players for that shit.
Okay. So my thing is, I think Microsoft is looking at it like, okay, most people who have PCs, which is a lot of people, don't have like really capable PCs to where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play the next, Halo on it or whatever. If you look at the percentage of what people are running, what people are working with on their PCs, it's
Really
as far
low.
as it's really low. Like most people don't have capable PCs to run current gen games, yet alone next gen games. So I think they're making a calculation based on that number. It's like, well, I want to play that next game. Is my PC capable enough to do that? No. Is my current Xbox? Yeah, but will I get the best experience on that? If you care about that, but a lot of people don't care about that. To me, it's just like, I'm not. I like having a box, and I like my games defined by that box. That's what I purchased a console for. But funnily enough, in this instance, I'm not buying an Xbox Series X because of any of that. I'm just upgrading at this point. For me, it's just an upgrade. And I know, as much as as good as my PC is, not the greatest, but it can run most stuff, 1080p, 60. But for me, it's like I don't really. I'm not a PC gamer. Like I would rather, if I could play a game, I'd rather be playing it on a console. And I think that's a lot of people's experience still. You all right, bro?
Robert is fucking dying.
He's
What happened?
I was like choking on his drink and everything.
Oh, okay.
We're just saying, hey.
I was looking for quotes. I was confused.
Well, yeah, because you were talking
We
about.
want to reach the mass. Yeah, I was looking in the chat too. Like, did I miss something? We want to reach the mass as far as us selling our games. It's great. Like again, if you're a console gamer and you want the best experience for the Halo, whatever, you're probably going to get a Series X or the Series S or whatever they're going to call it. That's going to be your move. So they're not overly concerned right now, at least, with selling you a box. They want to sell you their service and they want to sell you their games. Hopefully, the games that these newer studios are working on will entice you to buy a box if you don't have a PC that's capable. So, I mean, there's a huge market out there still. And I think at this point, that's what they're looking for. But I don't know if it's going to work.
I did find the quote, by the way.
All right, read it.
Sure. So it's kind of weird because the basis, I went on IGN and I went to a couple other websites to see. Part of the conversation seems to be about how Xbox Series X games aren't being held back by Xbox One.
Oh yeah, that was the general question that was asked too.
So originally it seemed to be about, let me make sure I got it right. Speaking to the game industry. Oh, Xbox boss called the idea of games being held back a meme that gets created by people who are too caught up in the device competition. And then Spencer,
I agree with that.
And then Spencer points to the PC market where games are regularly touted as the most advanced versions across all platforms also can be played on lower powered hardware. The quote is this, and then I'll read the other quote that refers to PlayStation. I just look at Windows, Spencer explained. It was almost certain if the developer is building a Windows version of their game, then the most powerful and highest fidelity version is the PC version. You can even see that with some of our first-party console games going to PC. Even from our competitors, that is the richest version is the PC version. Yet the PC ecosystem is the most diverse when it comes to hardware. When you think about it, the CPUs and the GPUs from years ago that are there. That's and the other part of it. Yes, every developer is going to find a line and say that this is the hardware that I am going to support, but the diversity of hardware choice in PC has not held back the highest fidelity PC games on the market. The highest fidelity PC games rival anything that anybody has ever seen in video games. So this idea that developers don't know how to build their games or game engines or ecosystems that work across a set of hardware, there is proof in PC that shows that is not the case. And then,
like T said, and I don't have the Digital Foundry was talking about this. Like the percentage, like the highest percentage, like graphics card that most seen on Steam as far as their data. They, when you have an account, I think you can deny them access, but is like a GTX like 960, which is like came out in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
It's got like 3 gigs of VRAM. It's like it's a decent card, but it's no.
Right.
It's not pushing. I mean, it's not even PlayStation 4 Pro level, visuals probably with that card.
Right.
And then the amount of people using a solid state drive was like, it was under 30%. I don't know the number.
I was gonna say it was probably in the 20s.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tiny.
it wasn't a
And the CPU cores, 4 cores is still the most common CPU used by people gaming on Steam. It's like 8 core CPUs have been out for like 12, 13 years or something. It's like
Yeah. So when you see these gamers jump on here talking about, well, I'll just play it on PC. They are in the margins of the PC gamer. They're like, in the 20 percentile. Most PC gamers don't have the capable system to. Oh, I don't need to buy an Xbox. I'll just play it here. Most guys aren't there. So
Right.
yes, we're in that realm. Most of us are in that realm, but most people who play. So that's what Microsoft's hedging their bets on. It's like, all right, these people have been playing, on PC, and they've been, they don't have the best version. All these people don't have the best version of whatever game, and they're happy with that. They're fine with that. So why can't that be the same for console? I don't know if that's going to work. But even for me, like even the Xbox is better than what PC has done. Because if you think about it, without Steam, you can't run like what is it? Escape from Monkey Island or whatever it's called. Like you can't run those games, but you can run the first version of Xbox games on the next gen console. So even PC doesn't go back that far. So
Right.
that's to me that's a cool thing.
All right,
I'm
Clock.
down with that.
Again, that's
I
the
can
reason
also-
why I'm buying it.
Thanks.
I think
So, I
Clocked
can
had
also-
something to say too before you.
Sorry.
Clocked
Go ahead,
it.
Clark.
I was listening. Yeah. I think this has always been the thing with PC and console gaming, though. As it doesn't matter how far back you go with PC. I mean, I've been a PC gamer since the mid-90s, and most people are always kind. You can't keep up with PC. So this is why consoles have always been. They've always been. You think of stuff like Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament. Couldn't play those on my own PC. Back in the day, I had to wait until I waited in an internet cafe to play those games, but I still bought them on the Dreamcast. When the PS2 come out, no games on PC that look like Metal Gear Solid 2. Because the consoles are always doing things that family, if you want to do on PC, spend the money, and most people can't. So I feel like what Microsoft are doing with the Xbox at the moment, I think they're doing what they've always wanted to do, is to return to that software market. Then at the same time, they have a console now, which can do essentially more than what even high-end PCs can do. I feel like not the first time. Well, it is technically the first time. Even when you go back to like the PS3 and the Xbox 360, those were some beefy systems for PCs at that time. And there's a lot of stuff that once again you could do in those consoles that you would need a chunky PC for. And people were written out of that, which is why consoles sell so much. I'm kind of with retro in the sense that I don't think people are too ready to give up brands. I think we always like brands. I think we always like certain places to go for our certain types of games. And we always go into the realms of where you play. It's like Juice said, you'd be happy to play certain Nintendo games, probably anywhere. But I'm not. I think a lot of people are also in my camp where you like to play your stuff certain places, and I don't see that changing too much. I think you can see that even now with the stupid Xbox and Sony fanboys rabbiting on about what console's going to be the best or whatever because of the exclusives. I don't feel like Sony should essentially feel pressured into having to put their software everywhere. At the end of the day, this is their platform, this is their console. want to play their stuff, you have to come to this part of the market instead of going everywhere else in the market. Yeah, it doesn't work out as well for some consumers. But at the end of the day, if I was going to play a Sony God of War game, still play it on a PlayStation console. That's me.
Yeah, and I see both sides
Well,
too.
Here's the thing.
I was gonna say Phil did have comments about Sony, but go ahead, T.
No, I just want to say real quick about that. Wanted to play on the original hardware. That for me, that's only when it comes to like Nintendo and Sega. Like I don't have that attachment to Sony hardware or Xbox hardware where it's like, oh, I gotta play it. I gotta play this 360 game on the 360. No, like it's the same damn controller for the most part. And that's the thing about Sony and Microsoft's consoles is like, well, I don't have this attachment to that console because there's nothing particularly special about it. I can play.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I can play an Xbox game on an Xbox One, no problem. And actually, I'll get a better, running and looking game if I do that. So I don't have that thing where I have with Nintendo, where it's like, well, Mario 64, no matter where it comes out on, I still rather play it on the N64. That's just the way I like that controller for that game because it was built for that game. So it feels different to me than playing, I don't know, Uncharted 2 on a PS5. I wouldn't feel any weird. I wouldn't feel weird about that at all. It doesn't bother me. So I think it's different. I think it's a different standard when you're talking about
the exclusives matter.
Right, the
there's no doubt about it. There's
I
no
would
doubt
say,
about it, and we all feel much more closer to Nintendo and Sega IPs because we just consider them to be vastly, better games. There's no doubt about that. There are some Sony IPs where I'm still attached to them, but I kind of agree. Where, if you remember, you're going back to the Xbox and PS2 days. Only lost so much back then. They lost Metal Gear, lost Grand Theft Auto, they lost Tomb Raider. They lost all this stuff. I didn't care. I was with you in that place. I was like, I don't care about Metal Gear going over to the Xbox. Don't care about Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And don't care about GTA. Whatever. It don't matter. But then I did care. When stuff like Beautiful Joe went over to the PlayStation 2, I was like,
right.
That's a game.
Yeah, like what's up with that bullcrap?
I could agree on par with what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that and to me because Nintendo's usually a good exception because a lot of the exclusives we got for certain Nintendo systems, handheld and console, it felt like you couldn't really get over. Kind of like what T said, like he would always prefer playing 64 on the N64. I actually feel that a lot when it comes to like the DS and 3DS titles, where I'm like,
right, same thing.
Actually, the good example of that is when they tried to port World Ends With You on the Switch, and I was like, yeah, you can. Realistically, I'm the kind of dude who realized you can only play that game on the DS. It's just one of those games that does not work in another format, at least not for me. So I can understand. I can completely understand that, and you got to realize the hardcore market is not the majority of the gaming audience anyway.
No.
Like, the casual doesn't give a shit. Like the people who are like excited about Xbox games or Sony games like Horizon and I forget what was it, Death Stranding's the other one coming to PC. Like the 20% cares, and that's not what they're gonna make their money on. And they also know that there isn't as much bleed over as I think they think there is. I think the PC gamers think there's gonna be this huge bleed over. In reality, a bunch of casuals are still gonna play NBA on Xbox. They're still gonna play NBA or 2K on PlayStation. They're still gonna pick their brand and be cool with it.
Yep.
So it's not gonna. Granted, I think that percentage will jump up this next gen, but I don't think it'll be enough for it to become the majority.
Yeah. I think Microsoft is just tired of fighting brand loyalty. It's hard for them. It's a battle they're just not going to win. They're not winning it right now, currently, and they're like, well, we're going to sell the most damn games. That's what we're going to focus on.
They've gone back to software, which is what they were always about.
Right.
I can go ahead and mention what Spencer said about Sony's the way they.
I thought he made a quote specifically about exclusives, not just having.
Yeah, it was. Well, they said specifically like Sony's next-gen exclusive focus approach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he says, as a player, you are the center of our strategy. Our device is not the center of our strategy. Our game is not the center of our strategy. We want to enable you to play games you want to play with the friends you want to play with on any device. Gaming is about entertainment in the community and diversion and learning new stories and new perspectives. And I find it completely counter to what gaming is about to say that part of that is to lock people away from being able to play those experiences, or to force someone to buy my device on the day that I want them to go buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. That was his full quote. As far
Sounds like something somebody would say who doesn't have any exclusive.
I mean, it's not a bad.
Well,
Like,
they have. Go ahead.
it's not like it's a bad statement, and I understand his point, because I can understand the argument that if it's a good game, you want everyone to play that good game, no matter, like, if you can only afford one console, like if you bought an Xbox, you can play that on your Xbox Xbox One, Xbox Series X,
Right.
or PC, or your Windows PC. I mean, right? Like, I understand the argument that, like, keeping with exclusives doesn't feel pro gamer, because realistically, if any gamer could get anything on any box, that's like the most pro consumer thing you could do. I guess and that makes sense maybe when you're talking about Sony, and that's my thing though. Like, it only makes sense for your competitors.
Like, I was going to say, it all. I mean,
I feel,
we could argue it all sounds peaches and sunshines for what he's saying. At the end of the day, he is still trying to push
His brand.
exclusives.
He's still trying to sell
The
it.
exclusives are, I want you to buy this game on this Xbox platform. I don't care where the platform is. Still want you to buy
This game.
Xbox version across whatever. Still pushing exclusives, but he's also still trying to make it sound like, yeah, we want you. We don't care what the game is. We don't care what it is. We want you to play the game whenever you want to play it. No, still want you to buy the Xbox version, whatever.
I kind of feel like he's.
I want you to play the PlayStation version. So that it's just a different narrative to selling an exclusive from another angle. That's all it is.
It feels
Because
like
he's kind of a sneaky bastard. He's not actually saying play it any way you want. He's like, well, you can play it on the Xbox One or the Series X, you know. You have them exclusive on PC because with Windows it's all the same shit anyway. Or like, you know, the original Xbox One, because he's not actually saying you can go play it on fucking Nintendo and shit, you know. You can play it anywhere you want on any of these Xbox systems.
Yeah, most people have PCs. That just goes back to my point of, you know, the scalability of a PC. So he's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, we don't want you to go buy a PlayStation. You know, we're not putting Halo on PlayStation. That's obviously not going to happen. But if you are a average gamer or whatever, you probably have something to play our game on, and that's what we're trying to push.
Yeah, it feels more like I didn't hear or read the whole thing, so I thought it feels more like he's like, all right, if you got a base model Xbox One, you got the S, you got the X, you got the Series X, and probably whatever the Series S or whatever that, or a PC. That's what he means. It wasn't necessarily about putting all their games on Nintendo and Sony's platforms. So I think people.
We're not trying to force you to buy a new box if you don't want to do that. But we want you to buy our game. So hopefully you have something you can play it on already. I think that's
one of our.
I guess, but the way he words it, it just kind of sounds like, man, we just want you to play our game. By the way, we're releasing a box. it just sounds.
The box almost feels like a formality. Like,
but everybody's releasing a box. How many times?
I know, but the way he says it just sounds.
I don't think Xbox wants to release the box. I think the only reason why they're doing it is because they know that's how you. Yeah, the casual market, you need the box for it. I think low key, they could just put their games on anything. I think they would just be. I think they at this point they're almost more content doing that.
It's hard to imagine that they don't care about the box when they're putting forth all the effort and R&D into the Series X and.
Well, yeah, and also the fact that
care about the box.
Probably gonna try to undercut, to do.
I guarantee you that the Series X won't be more expensive than the PS5, and chances are they might even try to make it cheaper. So that tells me they really want to push that too. So,
because they want you. Ultimately, they want you in their ecosystem. I mean, that's what it goes to. They want you with Xbox Live. They want you with Game Pass. Whatever they can do to get you to do that. They'll take a loss on their box. If you're willing to buy their box, they'll take a loss on it. But
And I'm like we've said since they first revealed it, you know, Robert, you were mentioning that you wish you had bought a desktop PC instead of a laptop, and so I just kind of quickly looked on at Best Buy for what they don't have like the Dells and Gateway PCs anymore. They have companies that actually put components that you could buy, and they put it all together for you. And like, I think I shared one that was like $1,300 something, I think, and that basically spec wise would get you close to what the Series X is going to be pushing for, and that's, you know, $1,300. Obviously, you can do more with the PC on top of that. You know, if you need it for other things, you know, you can't just say it's all for gaming. But to get the graphics card by itself that was in that computer is like $700 for the equivalent of what the Series X is going to be able to do. So, you know, the consoles still have that appeal. Like Clocked brought up, the 360 actually was outperforming the majority of PC gamers rigs when the 360 came out. Like it was ahead, and we haven't seen that since then. And I think this will be the first time since, you know, 2005 or 4 when that come out, 2005, that we're gonna see an option is to buy a console for $500 or whatever it's going to be, that is going to be right there with the, you know, not the top of the top. The guy that's willing to spend $5-6 grand on a PC obviously is going to have a significant more power, but still for
Lenny Wright has a great point.
Go ahead.
Read his last. He says he has like buy Xbox games or Game Pass, and he has like a confused emoji. And it's just like, yeah, that is, to me, that's a problem, because it's like that should have been a promotional thing where you get the first party game for a certain amount of time, then after that you have to, you know, buy it, because that is the thing. Is like, well, you want me to buy Game Pass, I'm not buying any games from you. Like,
yeah, it feels like they're competing with themselves. Game Pass is competing with game sales.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that was kind of when that thing got announced and we saw what it was and how much it was and what it was offering. And then we found out that announcement that, all first-party games will be on Game Pass. And I kind of like, and realistically, you couldn't objectively say that was a bad deal. At the same time, you kind of were confused because you're like, so do you just not care about me buying the game?
Yeah, for the cost of one game a year, I can have all your games for the year?
Yeah, like it seems off. Like what was,
doesn't seem sustainable.
How are you making money off of that? Or is that just a thing to get you in the ecosystem?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of people make money. Epic Games gives away games every damn day, it seems like. And I download them all, but I ain't buying none of it. I haven't bought one game
I think,
on
Epic's
I haven't bought one either.
But I have a bunch of games from them.
I think
I just download free.
I think what they're hoping for is that you'll have, you know, 40, 50 plus million people paying for Game Pass every month once the promotion ends, and they're paying that $15 a month, times that by, you know, I'm guessing what they're hoping to build to 40, 50 plus million subscribers, times that by $15 a month, and that's a healthy income coming in consistently, and they don't have to worry about, well,
that's true.
Halo Infinite has to sell 10 million copies for us to make a profit. And
right.
I think that's what they're trying to get away from, is having to rely on an individual game selling a certain amount to make money as a game company. So it may turn into the standard that, looking back, you know, your kids to you when they're our age, they'll be like, it'll be like hearing about the old days where you had to buy a game one at a time, you know, and pay for each game by itself, you know. So who knows?
They'll be looking at us like, why? How did people ever do that?
Yeah.
Buying all these games separately, that's so stupid.
And
I guess
that same thing is though, how often do these Game Pass games, you know, get off of Game Pass? And it's like, all right, well, now you can't.
Yeah, they don't stay forever. That's another thing too.
Yeah,
so.
they fall off.
Well, that gives you incentive to play some of the games.
That's true.
Then just because, like, I downloaded The Witcher 3 early in my 3-month trial for $1, and then in the course of 3 months, I put a couple hours into it, and just like that time just quickly went away. All of a sudden, I didn't have Game Pass anymore, and I was like, shit, if I would have been a little more aware of my subscription ending, I might have put some more time into it. But so if you just go ahead, Trill.
I was gonna just say the one thing about Game Pass that, and I think it's still gonna boil down to how next gen goes and what Xbox's efforts are. But like one of the bigger selling points was the whole, you can get like first party games the day they come out, like the same day, and like everyone in the back was like, oh, that's a cool feature. And then like the next few games that came out on Xbox One was like first party games were bad.
Not very good.
Was it State of Decay 2 and Crackdown 3?
Crackdown 3. Ooh.
I think Sea of Thieves was the best game they got, and maybe Gears.
Eventually,
Gears
that was a year later.
Yeah. And my problem, it boils down to like, well, you're still gonna have to put out some good exclusive games to really like to make people entice, like. And obviously, Halo will do something.
Well, we got 10 days. In 10 days, we'll find out if they got something. All right, let's get to questions.
There's that rumor. There's been a lot of rumors,
No,
so
I think that was
maybe Xbox rumors are right.
That was announced, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there's been rumors about what's going to be shown. So.
It's going to be shown.
Okay, I got you.
So this is cool.
Ignored all those.
I brought the chat, the questions up, and then it keeps a little window. And whoever was talking, it kind of switches back and forth, so that's cool. Right now it's switching between T and clocked it. So let's try to answer one at a time here, but let me just see if this is actually a question. Congrats on reaching 300 episodes. Fun fact: I found the Juiceless podcast when Juice was on the podcast of the extinct YouTuber named Bear Hugger. Really, you found me through Bear Hugger. My question. Which theme song is better, Back at the Backlog or the Ms. T Show? I'm just going to say, I'm back at the backlog. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not even saying.
Here we go. Let's start the show hosted by Ms. T. Nintendo video games. Come on.
I think you're biased. I
might be biased, but I'm also honest.
I'm gonna say this.
I like the Back at the Backlog song. Don't get it twisted.
I'm gonna say this. Listen, I think the original version of T's intro, I prefer more than kind of like the remix version we kind of got later on, where it's still the same intro. It's just
one was like a more rock version, I would say. Almost.
Yeah, like I actually prefer the original one, but like Robert's argue is more catchy. That's my problem. Like
I think both songs are trash.
And half of it banjo. It's a goddamn banjo.
Juice is clearly biased when it comes to my music because he's always having Robert's music over mine anyway. I'm talking about him. So
hey,
he has a bias.
That is low key.
You guys are both.
That is low key.
That is low key.
You guys are both in the one of my least listened to genres, so I really can't be a fair judge of.
And in that group, I'm the least liked when it comes to the music.
I mean,
if we're gonna compare real music, I think T's real music is better. But Robert's still young.
Man, it's going up.
When did we come to this? How did we get to this?
Yeah, let's move on. Move on.
You knew what was gonna happen.
Let's just say, Let's just move on.
Yeah, just move on.
All right. So Malik asks.
Not real music, yo. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I just want to know, Robert, what it.
Most popular music on the planet, by the way.
How dare you?
I just want to say, Robert, I can't remember the line. Something expands your dong, and I can't remember what it was from the thing. Donkey Kong. Okay.
Come on, that was. Real.
That's some. Yeah, that's
better than Insecure Vagina song, though.
In my opinion, Tricky still do. I think these thing feels more like a 90s video game show.
Or like a TV show, yeah.
It feels more like a sitcom intro. Personally, mine goes more to Robert. Plus, it's like you said, like none of that shit is my music. Like I'm definitely not into the R&B and the rap stuff. So to me, Robert just speaks a little bit more to me because it's just more accessible to me. That sounds so fucking casual, but that's just what it's like.
You on that casual commercial shit. I got the deep over here. I got the deep shit.
Listen, as someone who is into the rap and R&B, T shit just hits me very nostalgically because
I mean that's always been the same. Like when it comes to my actual music, I wasn't good at making commercial tracks. I'm not good at it. So and that's why I'm here with you guys.
Subscribe to his
If it
Patreon,
helps, I
guys.
prefer your song, man.
Instead
I
of
prefer your
on
song.
tour right now.
I
Alright.
used to like Rob's until he played Perfect Dark. You know, but the music team song was just
The video's
something
not even
better.
out yet, bro. The video's Oh,
All right.
Jesus.
They're both good intro songs, though. Honestly, that's
Dudes, just move on.
And technically, mine is stolen. I mean, it's
yeah.
I
You
use the it's the harmony from I can't even say it on air, but the
The
Dave
Dave
Chappelle
Chappelle
Yeah.
skit.
all right? So
Oh, I didn't.
Robert didn't even use that background music. I've heard that background music before. I know that.
It's from it's from the YouTube audio libraries. I had to.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
what
get something that's. I can't get something that gets copyrighted every single fucking video.
all right. So Malik asked, well, the rumored Xbox Lockhart is significantly weaker than the Series X, supposedly, but it's assumed it'll get the same third-party support. So how strong would a Switch 2 need to be to get similar support? That's a good question. Base Xbox level or PS4 Pro level? Well, the weaker Xbox, they're still, because of the new architecture, will still be on par with the Xbox One X.
So if it's close to that, it should be fine.
So, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's still going to be and Microsoft's still saying they're going to support the base model Xbox One with like
Yeah,
Halo
But for 2
Infinite.
years though.
So,
Only for 2 years.
but
1.5 to 2 years. You said.
how strong would the Switch 2 need to be to get similar support? I agree. Like at least like you would hope, like base. He said base Xbox level. I think I would hope for at least base PS4 level.
I guess here's the question: how far
Yeah.
away is the Switch from the Xbox One now? Like how far?
Well, in
You
some
think-
ways it's close. It's not that far. In other ways, it's still pretty far.
It's really far.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
So I would say,
it's not just apples to apples thing.
but I think
I've
if the
said it from the start. I feel that even if the Switch was on the exact same power, even higher, third parties just wouldn't
I
go
don't
there.
I don't believe that.
I don't know.
I don't know if
At
it's
this point, I'm not sure about that.
it's when we said last week. I don't think it's the power as much as it could be on par, but still be a different architecture, and they gotta port the code over, which takes way more time than just
Yeah, it all depends-
x86, drop and drag, optimize, for the operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's it could be as powerful as the Xbox Series S, whatever that's going to be, and still, but it's a different architecture. That would turn them away. It's like because they want the easiest way to
Mhm.
port, and it's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah, they want to spend a low amount of money for a high
Because
return.
just like the Wii U, I mean, the Wii U was in some ways ahead of the 360, in other ways it was a little behind, but it was a completely different architecture. Well, I don't know if it was that,
I thought it was ahead.
or maybe it was Power PC.
Oh, where's the head?
It was something about the Wii U.
It was like a weird amalgamation where it was harder to. It was closest to Xbox's architecture, but I guess harder. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Nintendo made it.
Well, the other thing was the gamepad. I don't think that the Wii U was the 360. Still, maybe it was technically the Wii U was better in every way, but the 360 was still doing games that were like the late generation 360 games were. I mean, yeah, I guess they weren't running quite at
you
the
can
same.
look at the PS3 and say PS3 was technically better than 360 in every way, but who had the better third-party games?
Yeah, because the PS3 was hard to develop for.
That's
So
already up
Right.
until like the late, what was it 2009, 2010 when they finally started getting their shit together with the PS3.
So you would need the perfect storm. It would need to be, the power would need to be on par, but it also have to be on the same architecture. That's the only way we would be able to answer this question. Would the third parties still not be there or not? Like we just never, we haven't had a situation where we have evidence where there hasn't been some kind of roadblock for the Nintendo
Yeah.
version. Because remember Wii U ports.
And they need decent-sized storage in the console. You can't be putting out no 32 gigabyte console and expecting people to download 100 gigabyte games.
We're still dealing with the whole storage issue.
Well, remember the Wii U ports they said was was like $1 million or something. Or some of the developers were saying so.
Yeah,
So that was, you know,
that's what they said. I don't know.
who knows what it was, but I know.
That sounds fishy to me.
And like we've have evidence of what when you have two systems that are similar, even if Japanese games don't do well on the Xbox, they still put a lot of them on the Xbox just because it's so easy to do. Like it's like at that point,
easy and it's cheap. It's easy.
That's
easy and cheap.
So we'd have to see Nintendo would actually have to do that, and then we'd have to see.
You know, it only seems to hit one or the other.
If,
It's either
you know,
cheap or it's easy. One or the other.
So you could we could speculate, but
there's actually a lot of Japanese games that don't actually come to Xbox, but I think that's just because of the market and shit. There's a lot more of those games. Like
more because they don't.
9 out of 10 times when you have a trailer, it's like PlayStation, Nintendo. They don't come to Xbox, but that's not maybe because of porting or whatever. Just
well, there's
Xbox in Japan.
You're so foreign at Xboxes in Japan. Who gonna make them?
Yeah, but then that's
Some of these games are so fucking niche. It's like, bro, why would you even waste the money for an Xbox?
But how many times have we in the last
that shit on Vita, though?
In the last 2 years, how many times are we like, why are they putting that on Xbox? Why would they bother putting that on Xbox? We've said that many times in the last few years.
We have said that.
Now we're answering it.
So
now we know.
And I mean, you got the whole competing with Nintendo games, but we haven't seen it since the Super NES, like where Nintendo's just gotten full third-party support because there wasn't some kind of excuse that these third parties could use, or whether it was legit or not. I mean, I kind of during the time I was mad, but looking back now, I don't really blame developers for Nintendo going with a cartridge on the N64. Like, you know what, we got other plans. We're gonna go to these disc-based systems and do the things we want to do. And
so they had a way around that. They had somewhat with the disc drive, but they never. It was supposed to come out in '97, and then it come out to '99, and it didn't come out only in Japan. So I can't blame third party when it, like you said, when it comes to N64. The ones who did show up, God bless them, because it was expensive. Those carts are expensive.
I mean,
that hardware.
I know for sure I paid $80 for. I don't remember the exact game, or maybe I didn't buy it, but I know there was some $80 N64 games back in 97, 98, 99. So, but anyway, let's get to the next question here. We got
Resident Evil 2 was, I know I paid like 70-something, 74, something like that dollars for it. So
most of my N64 games I bought secondhand because when I was working in electronics boutique at the time, like you said, the N64 games, man, and I had to sell N64s to customers. You got the PlayStation here for like £200, N64 here, £250 or whatever, and then the game prices, like, God, I had to say, you're not going to get a game like Mario 64 on the PlayStation. You're not going to get Banjo-Kazooie. I had to sell those games hard because the price difference was. But most of my games I bought secondhand, also because I got discounts as well. But there'd be no way I could afford to keep on buying all those brand new games at launch. No way.
And I paid Perfect Dark, plus I bought the RAM expansion at the same time. It was over 100. I don't remember the exact price, but all right. So, damn it. Let's go back to the questions. Have you played Indivisible, and if so, what are your thoughts on gameplay, story, presentation? And it's a new style gameplay not seen before. I never played it, so
it didn't. I played the demo. It wasn't bad. I liked it. It's kind of it's like a dungeon crawler mixed with like a party RPG. Because like
an AR game, was it?
Say what?
It was like an AR game. Invisible? What am I thinking of?
No. That was I'm thinking of the Kickstarter one with
the girl.
Yeah, the girl, which you can do like platforming and shit, and then you run into like wild battles, but it just there's no like transition or that dumb shit. You kind of just go right into the fight. It's cool. I mean, the demo was cool. I liked it. It's just I haven't played it. It's on Switch. It runs well from what I saw. Just I haven't picked it up. It's in the backlog.
And for some reason, when Terrell talks, it doesn't switch to his camera. I don't know why it's.
Because they're not.
It's stuck on Clapter right now.
See that's bias, all right? They only approve of the UK. It's bullshit.
There we go. All right, so this is a good question. We'll start with Terrell. Would you rather see next from Monolith Soft, Xenoblade Chronicles X2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, or something non-Xenoblade related?
That's the easy one. Think about it. You think about it, Terrell.
Probably. Well, I mean, we already know the next one's gonna be.
That's what I'm saying.
The next one's gonna be a new game. Like it's not.
But what would you rather see though? Not what.
What would I rather?
That's yeah.
I don't know, like because Xenoblade 2 technically takes place like at the same time as Xenoblade 1. I'm sorry, spoilers.
Oh, too late. Thank you.
So like,
I'm happy to skip.
Monolith Soft never does kind of like the same kind of game anyway. So I would say I would rather see a new game from them just to see their take on something different.
Yeah,
You don't want them to get pigeonholed.
I'm leaning towards
into, like,
X2,
one genre.
but I wouldn't be
Biased.
opposed to something new if it was an interesting. As long as it's a similar style game, I wouldn't want them to see go to something like a card-based combat system or something.
Oh no! Now
zany.
you're talking about Kingdom Hearts and all shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's what Kingdom Hearts did, and I hated it.
All right, so
Bakugan.
Malik asked us.
Shut up.
I kind of want to answer.
Oh, you can answer that.
Please
Go ahead.
interrupt that
By the way.
shit.
Go ahead,
I
Retro.
just want to say I want something else. I want my fucking button titles 3. It's about goddamn time.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna happen, pal. Nobody bought you.
Shut up! They were already making it.
Oh,
There were
Jesus
two of them, at
Christ.
least. So someone brought
On
the
Twitter
first
the
one.
other day, they mentioned one of the Monolith Soft guys mentioned Xenogears 2, but I would take that.
Ooh.
You know, it's still the Xeno stuff, but Xenogears 2, I'd be all over that.
Robert, what's
Xenosaga.
Robert? What is your? Did you play the? Are you starting the first Xenoblade anytime soon, or did you buy it, Robert?
Oh, me? Oh, right.
Me?
Yeah.
Your name's Robert, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm not.
I feel like
That
every
game's
time
too
Robert.
long.
I will one of these days.
That game too long for Robert, man. He said he's
No, I
glad.
feel like
Yeah,
every time Robert has like a game that's going in the backlog, we need to just play a banjo noise in the background.
I mean, I'm considering Xenoblade is definitely on the backlog because I consider it as like, yeah, you have the new definitive, but I count it as it's the
Yeah, I get you. All right, so Malik asked, and we didn't talk about this because I actually didn't check into any of the situation going on with the whole Evo and stuff, but he's just asking, does the recent Smash Brothers situation ruin any chance of Nintendo embracing esports?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
definitely.
I think
The little toes that they dipped in it, they're like out of that.
you don't think.
Because they have videos promoting these people who ended up being like, we found out later, like within the last week or two.
But you can't blame them
like,
for that.
removed them.
We're like,
And they removed
yeah,
them.
but like
And
Nintendo.
you're right. But Nintendo is not gonna.
Nintendo doesn't need
Yeah.
to.
What about them
Nintendo
just
doesn't
doing their own like little tournaments and having just
Oh no, they might do that. They might do
Look what
that.
happened to
Oh,
Picto
yeah.
Chat. You know, look what
Yeah.
happened.
Don't bring up Picto Chat in here.
Nintendo
Nothing.
is sitting
Swap
there.
Note? Was that the other thing?
Swap note.
God
Nintendo
damn
is
it.
sitting there, and if they're saying to themselves, "You see, this is exactly why we didn't do that."
Why, yeah.
This is exactly why I don't do voice chat right
I
here.
hate when stuff like this happens because this Nintendo be like, see, that's why we don't do it, and we ain't gonna do it. ever
That's why we
again.
got to
Bye.
be your parents because obviously somebody needs to.
They
All
just
right.
don't want it on them. I don't think they're trying to be your parent. I just think they don't like that publicity on them.
Well, yeah.
They want to keep their image.
I'm talking about Nintendo as a whole. A lot of people say that they're trying to be your mom
Well, yeah.
because of the whole,
Yeah.
control.
I don't even think they're that interested. I think they're more interested in just doing their regular competitions that they do, or their regular big competitions. I don't even think they're really that interested in constantly supporting some esports stuff for some of their games. I really don't think they are.
Yeah,
They
I
should
think
be
so,
though,
yeah.
but that's only good for them. That only ingratiates the community with them even more. Like they should be on that. But then when stuff like this happens, it's like we're out of here, son.
Well, they sometimes they've been, the past few years they've sponsored them,
Yeah,
but they
that
don't.
stuff, and that's
That's
gonna kill even
mean
that.
anything, you know what I'm saying?
And if people are wondering, go ahead. I was just gonna say, if people are wondering what happened, just look it up. We're not gonna get into that.
I can go
Nope.
through
Nope.
You can easily find. No, you can easily.
Yeah, you
find
can go
it.
look it up. So, Lightning asks, what are your thoughts on developers who get cocky and become arrogant due to a success of their game, creating controversy on the game they're developing at the moment and in the future? I don't.
It sounds like a loaded question.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I know what he's referring to.
It sounds like Hideo Kojima question. doesn't it?
Yeah, that would be a Death Stranding kind of. I mean, that's
like I said, it's a loaded question. I already knew what was up.
That's what happens sometimes, but it's not like so rampant that it's got so many examples.
I don't even agree with that saying that much anyway. I think devs, more than anything, they got complacent. They got lazy.
Yeah, that's probably the better.
I say
Druckmann is doing his own farts right now.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
that's the game I think Lightning's referring to. I think he's referring to Last of Us.
I mean,
you're riding off the success of Amy Hennig, pal. We'll see how you do going forward.
I might not like the guy personally, but I have absolutely, and I'm fully enjoying the game, so I can't really.
Well, but that's not all him though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's see what you do without Homegirl going forward. That's what I want.
I don't think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be Uncharted and The Last of Us for a while. I don't think they're gonna come up with any new.
Well, that's the thing. Uncharted is also Amy Hennig.
Mhm.
Let's see what you do.
Also, how you doing with Uncharted? Down Nathan Drake. They
were talking about his daughter.
Yeah, they set her up. They set that up in the fourth.
Yeah.
Wasn't Uncharted 4 going to be the last one?
It's
the last in the Uncharted series, but they're going to try
That's
to
in the
squeeze
Nathan Drake
saga.
saga.
Right.
But they'll bring him back. Trust me.
Nathan Drake could be Sully at that point. He could be like a.
What was his daughter's name? To just call it after name for her.
That's just Joel. It becomes Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Instead of
Cassandra Drake. At your son. Where you get that accent from? I don't know.
She's gonna become Lara Croft, basically. Which
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Exactly. That's what I was hinting at.
I would love a Lost Legacy too, because that was my favorite Uncharted game.
Lost Legacy was a good game. I will say that was good.
So, all right. TriLink, does anyone else think that the overall quality of Nintendo games on Switch is much lower than previous consoles, both handheld and console? In theory, the quality should be higher because Nintendo is accustomed to HD development and have unified their handheld and console staff's teams. Yet I think we're only seeing a handful of quality Nintendo Switch games that measure up to their past successes.
Well, I just think more so quantity, not quality. I don't think.
I mean, I feel like I said last year, Luigi's Mansion 3 was
top tier.
Stood out as like that Mario Odyssey, that Breath of the Wild, that Smash Ultimate. So, I mean, but it's not like every single Nintendo game, every generation is absolute top tier. I mean,
yeah,
right.
There's always
That's what I was going for too. It's like Nintendo. They've always had certain games that were like ridiculous top tier, and some that are more in the middle. They've always had a balance with that. Which I mean, you agree with it or not? That's just how they've always had it.
But they haven't had games where like it was just straight up lacking content, or it was like worse in a lot of ways than the last iteration.
Except for the couple on Wii U there, some of the later Wii U games like the Mario, the tennis, and the Animal Crossing.
Well, we all agree those are not up to par.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so you got to do better than that. You know, like.
But I'd say that 2014 lineup on Wii U was most of those games for me were the best in the series.
Quality.
Yeah. agree.
I don't fucking know what came out in 2014.
We had Tropical Freeze.
Really? It was Donkey Kong, Smash.
You got an old man memory. This
Mario Kart 8, Smash.
All the memory. You guys, everybody at the same time remember all these fucking games. I don't see the point in remembering it. Really, after very.
We go to bed at night.
You literally just say you don't remember.
I gotta remember this tomorrow.
Remember anything?
It's just how our brains work, I guess.
And I've got a question that's not in here, but I keep forgetting to ask this. Have you guys seen the progress updates of the Nintendo theme park going on in Japan? There's some aerial shots. They're going all in with the 3D world aesthetic. Like it's almost all based off 3D world. So to me,
3D world.
To me, that almost guarantees a 3D world port on Switch. The fact that they're that they're invested their entire
Yay!
To be fair, that game I don't feel like got the respect it deserved.
I think but my big thing is that you get 3D. No, I think it's respected. We had Odyssey,
because people acted like it wasn't a real 3D Mario.
But do you think that's
I remember those days. Don't you, Retro? Oh wait,
it's not a real 3D Mario game. It's not the full. It's not the full 3D Mario game.
Right.
So what do you guys think of? What do you guys think about Nintendo basing this super expensive construction on this theme park based on a 3D World, which was a Wii U game, and that's the only place it's been? I think it's unusual that they went. I'm surprised that that's what they based it off of.
I think it works as.
I think it makes sense because it's like 3D World was at that point an amalgamation of pure what Mario was purely about. They tried to get back to that almost original feel of what Mario was about, right? Like it had a flagpole at the end. We hadn't seen that in a long time for a 3D Mario game, so it makes sense. It's a modern Super Mario Brothers.
I think 3D World was very stylized. I think, for example, like the new Super Mario Bros. It's just bland. 3D World has this flair to it that just it's happy. It works better,
And it looks Nintendo. It looks very Mario. Whereas like Odyssey's basically doesn't look like any Mario game we've ever seen. It's like real world settings.
3D World was set up like it was almost set up like a stage as well. Like you had like the theme park areas. Like when you did the 2D areas, had lots of silhouettes. Even like when you had 4 players, they'd all jump at the end together. And then,
I think it was literally trying to meld like 3D and 2D Mario together.
Yeah, that's why it's a perfect game to go off of. And it obviously modern look.
The 2D aesthetic into a 3D world, because if you say that, people would think, see, it's a 2D Mario game.
No. And I agree with Visor Grunt. Just got to throw that out there. I agree that 3D World is better than Odyssey. Not by much. I just slightly prefer it, I guess.
I've heard that a lot as of recent.
I disagree.
Most people say I don't know. 3D World just has like I don't know if it's that gameplay loop with it. It's just
it's about to.
You have the seizure.
It's about to explode.
Going up everywhere. You possess.
It always happens where as something gets older, the new shit becomes, it's whatever. I always hear the Breath of the Wild, this is better than Breath of the Wild, and this is better than Odyssey. You know what I'm saying? It always happens because when Odyssey 2 or whatever comes out, they'll be like, man, Odyssey was so fucking amazing. It was so much better than everything else. And that's why you hear, that's why you hear 3D World love. That's why you hear Sunshine all the fucking time. Because now GameCube guys are 20-something-year-olds, so now you hear that.
You're right about that.
I can confidently say though, since the beginning, I've always thought 3D World was just the notch above Odyssey.
That's why I had to deal with these. I know how to deal with these Sunshine ass hats. Because it's the right time and the right age for those GameCube dudes to be like, "Oh, Sunshine was the greatest."
Yeah, I don't have no Odyssey poster, that's for sure.
Sunshine has always been the greatest.
All right,
doing this.
No, like I like Odyssey. I think is better than 3D World, but like they're like just fucking there, dude. They're like to me, it's like they're just both masterpieces.
Yeah, it's hard to.
I think the main difference is that 3D World was so underrated for a while. Like even people who played
it was on the Wii U, so.
Well, I mean, I think.
Just wait till the real 3D Mario game comes out.
Even the first, that's literally what people kept saying. So,
they were saying that. People were saying
the difference was that Mario Odyssey got all the hype in the world, and people.
It was a high selling system, get all that hype.
Mario Odyssey is amazing game. It's just for me, 3D World just has a special place, in my heart.
Odyssey was a return to that sandbox we hadn't had in a while, so it was a bigger return to that. Than since what N64. So I'm not even counting Sunshine. I know y'all want to
most people say, damn. Most people say 3D World was what New Super Mario Brothers should have been. A lot of people say.
Yes, I will agree with that. 100%.
Like when I do say that Odyssey is better than 3D World, it's just a typical let's be honest here, they're both great
Oh,
games.
god tier games.
They're just god tier games. So one is just gonna peak over the other one for your personal taste.
Exactly.
At that time, where it's like 3D World, my biggest bugbear, the directional controls. That was my biggest bugbear. But then the whole game itself is just sensational. It's got some of the best ideas in a Mario game ever.
I like the
Yeah,
I
I've
like
never
the
seen it.
core. I'd say Odyssey's better. The core game, but it was just the plethora of easy moons and not a whole lot of the challenging level.
3D World's a better platformer. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody would agree with that.
Yeah, I like-
3D World's a better platformer. Odyssey is the better kind of sandbox open world
Mhm.
Mario.
Yeah, it's
So,
just I mean just whatever's your preference. So this
Right.
is we'll keep do one more question. God dang, I'm not even gonna try to. Let me see.
What happened?
Scarabridian.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, you're trying to say his name. Scarabridian.
Yes,
Scarabridian. In what order should I introduce the Zelda games to my kids? By release date, ease of gameplay, or just whatever strikes their fancy? I would, if they're
very
young,
good
I would say ease of gameplay, because I remember my nephew when he was 10 or 11, when Link Between Worlds came out, and he, about 2 months after he got it, I asked him where he was at, if he beat it, and he's like, no, I got stuck in the beginning, I didn't know what to do, and he turned it on and showed me. He didn't even know to put a bomb by a wall that looked like it was broken, had some cracks in it. So he just gave up on the game because he never played a Zelda game before. He didn't know the basics and didn't know that a crack in a wall meant you place a bomb.
The
And
thing is, we had like the manuals, because we had like all the full colored manuals and all that stuff that showed
Right.
you
They don't do that
all
anymore.
this stuff. So you don't do that anymore.
so I would say start with something, whatever.
I started my son with the greatest Ocarina of Time. So he's a
But
Zelda
great-
fan now. He played Breath of the Wild and beat that. So
The
It's
great
10.
thing about Zelda is that there's so many games that have so many styles and different
yeah,
stories in a way. My recommendation would be start them off to the game you think, this is gonna sound dumb as shit, but that catches their imagination more. There's games like Skyward Sword. I don't like it, but it's colorful as fuck. For kids, for example, that would be a much easier thing than, let's say, Twilight Princess, where you're playing for the fucking Woo for the first goddamn 5 hours and shit, which is just boring, and kids might be like,
yeah, you know.
bad image for Zelda that way. So I think you can easily gear Zelda towards the kind of person, because there's just so much variety in it.
I wouldn't start them.
Honestly, I would start because of what we have now, YouTube and all that. To show them a Let's Play. I would start for them to understand what Zelda is about. I would start Link to the Past. If you can get them into that, hey, here's a Let's Play. If you get stuck, this guy's showing you where to go. Because that game gives you Zelda foundation after foundation. So that would be my pick. That would be my
I was
decision.
actually going to say the Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually, I would have
oh.
suggested that.
True.
In terms of
I
like
didn't even think about
accessibility
it,
and stuff.
But then you
Right now
got
with the quality of life stuff, that they've done with it.
I agree.
It looks.
Link's Awakening is
but
probably
that
the
one
best.
they're definitely gonna watch a Let's Play on, because they're some of
Well,
those
kids today, that's all they do
solutions.
anyway.
Yeah, Robert.
I got stuck in Link's Awakening. There was times where I didn't know where the fuck I had to do. So
I ain't gonna lie, and I got stuck
I
in
see
a.
Lightning.
I was gonna say I got
Go
stuck in a Link to the Past on the Wii Virtual Console when I was replaying it, and it'd been 15 plus years since I went through the game, and I got to the Dark World, Death Mountain, and I go to the dungeon, and there's a symbol, and I'm like, how do I get in this place? I was like, what the fuck? It was like a lightning bolt or something on a circle. I'm like, the hell is this? So I had to look it up, and they're like, oh, you need the medallion, that magic medallion, whatever the one it was called. I'm like, well, where the hell do you find this? And it's like, oh, it's just randomly in a spot in the Zora River, and I forget if you just hit the button to pick it up, or you talk to a Zora randomly and give him something, and he gives you that early in the game, and it's like, I had to look that shit up, man. I completely forgot about that. So
Like who beat the original Zelda without help? Which asshole gonna sit here and say they did that?
I
It's
did as a kid.
like, you needed.
I did because I played that. Well, that depends what you mean with help. I played it with my brothers a lot and shit, but back then,
So
that's
that's
what
help.
this is what I was gonna say because of Lightning's comment. The first game is a bad Zelda to give to people who never played it because. We didn't have a lot of games back then and shit. You didn't buy like 10 fucking games every week like you do now on 10 different consoles. You only had that game, so you milk the shit out of it. You have a maze in the game where you have to for fucking 10 screens in a row walk in a specific direction. You're not gonna figure it out. People are gonna get bored of that. You have to use a flute, which only does like one fucking thing on one fucking screen. If you don't know that, you're not gonna find all the dungeons. You literally have to randomly walk through a wall by walking against it for like 5 fucking seconds. It's a bad Zelda to give to anybody. But yeah, if you didn't grow up with those games, then you're never gonna finish that shit.
Yeah, it's like telling somebody, "Hey, I want to start Castlevania. Which one should I start with? Castlevania 2."
Oh God!
Don't do that because there's random stuff like that where you gotta kneel next to a wall. For 10
I know
seconds.
which
like,
one.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, how am I supposed to know I'm supposed to do that?
Zelda 2, Link's Adventure. That's where you start.
Oh man, that's even worse. I think. Not as a game. I mean, the worst pick.
I sucked. I could never get past
it. Random battles. What is this shit?
All right, so yeah, that's gonna do it for the podcast. Thanks for the questions, guys. So let us know if you're not watching this live, if you're watching it on the replay, if you made it to the end, what'd you think of the new format? Hopefully, I noticed, I don't know if it's the video or just Discord in general, there's a little bit more talking over each other than in the old on the Hangouts, which was, I think, a little bit better quality audio and stuff. But this was fun. It was good seeing everybody, seeing Collected make us funny faces throughout, and Retro Desk Cats and Robert looking up at the ceiling. It was fun. It was fun. So
I think this format is good in a way where now sometimes mics got cut out, and now you can see who wanted to talk. Earlier, for example, you were a club that wanted to say something. And normally I hear it. I didn't hear a fucking thing. If you hadn't said it, I wouldn't have noticed it because nowadays you can see it. People want to talk.
That's true. Right. I've noticed that.
So yeah, it was fun, and we've had a lot of there's a lot of gaming news coming out. It seems like I guess Microsoft announced something else today, or Flight Simulator. I don't know if there's a release date or anything, but I feel like there's gonna be some good each week. We're gonna, for the next month maybe, we're gonna have lots of stuff to talk about. Got new consoles coming out, and what is it now? Is it July? So 5 months.
We're almost like in the middle of July.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's fun to just have new stuff to talk about. I know there was there was a period there where there wasn't a whole lot of new information coming from any game developers or publishers. So, but yeah, so I look forward to doing this again like this with this format. And again, I said leave a comment if you liked it, what you liked about it, or if you didn't like it, then just don't leave that comment. But yeah,
hey, Juice doesn't like criticism.
I appreciate everybody tuning in the live chat. It's a good community. It's fun doing these podcasts. I almost thought about starting fresh with a new name. I told you guys a while ago, starting after 300, but I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it going. So, but anyway, thanks for you guys for partaking, and we'll see everybody next week.